All right, so we're back for another deep dive, and today we're going to be talking about something that's been all over the news lately.
Yeah.
Okay. Grok 3.
Grok 3. It seems like it's everywhere you turn.
It really does, and it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around.
And it's moving so fast.
Exactly.
It's tough to keep up.
So we've got a few articles,
right?
And we watched a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be our deep dive into Grok 3.
Right. Okay, that's good.
So yeah, I mean, just to kind of set the stage for anyone who maybe hasn't been following this as closely as we have, Grok 3 is the latest AI tool that's come out of Elon Musk's XAI.
Right, yeah, his new company, XAI.
Right, and it's being touted as the next ChatGPT.
Well, potentially even more powerful, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen, it seems like it could be even more powerful. One of the things that really jumped out at me right away was just how quickly they developed this.
I know, it's amazing. Just 92 days to train this entire model.
That's unheard of.
It really is. I mean, usually these things take months, if not years, and they managed to do it in just over 3 months.
Yeah, and they used a massive amount of computing power to do it.
Yeah.
Something like 200,000 high-end GPUs.
Yeah, they were really throwing resources at this project.
I mean, it's clear that they wanted to make a splash.
Oh, absolutely. And it seems like they have. I mean, the YouTube video we watched, the creator was just blown away by Grok 3's capabilities.
Well, he did say it was almost next to God.
Yeah, a bit of an exaggeration, maybe.
A little bit, yeah. But
you can understand the excitement, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So what can this thing actually do?
Well, it's basically an AI chatbot, kind of like ChatGPT.
Okay.
But it's developed by Musk's XAI, and it's integrated into his platform X, the one that used to be Twitter.
Right, right. But from what I've seen, the biggest difference seems to be the image generation capabilities.
Yes. That's what's really got everyone talking. It seems to be a lot more, shall we say, unrestricted than other AIs, like ChatGPT, for example. It has all sorts of limitations built in to prevent it from creating certain types of images, especially if they involve public figures.
And this is where that example with Mukesh Ambani comes in from the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Like they asked Grok 3 to generate images.
Of him?
India's richest person.
Right. Riding a horse while taking a bath.
Like in a pool?
Yeah. Wild stuff. And Grok 3 did it, no problem.
And then the YouTuber tried the exact same prompts with ChatGPT, and it completely refused. Said it couldn't do it because of its restrictions. It's a pretty crazy difference.
So why is Grok 3 allowed to do things that other AIs aren't?
Well, the YouTuber speculates that it might be because of Elon Musk's wealth and influence.
Right.
That he's somehow bypassing the typical safeguards.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's his connections with the U.S. government. It's all just speculation at this point, but it's definitely interesting to think about.
I mean, Musk is not exactly known for playing it safe, right? Definitely not. He's kind of a maverick in the tech world. But this whole unrestricted image generation thing, it really does make you think about what's next for AI. I mean, is this just the beginning? Will all AIs be able to create anything we ask them to, regardless of the potential consequences?
It's almost like Grok 3 is this test case for how far we can push AI, both in terms of its capabilities and the ethical boundaries. And the YouTuber even said Grok 3 is out of control, which is...
That's a strong statement.
Yeah, a little dramatic, but it does get you thinking.
For sure. I mean, this is a huge deal. We have to start talking seriously about what this all means. What are the ethical implications of a tool like this? And especially when you consider how accessible it is.
That's right. It's not some top secret project hidden away in a lab. People can actually use Grok 3 right now through x.com.
There's even a dedicated website, grr.com.
And there are premium options if you want even more features.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah.
And that just makes those questions about potential misuse and the need for regulations even more important.
So we have an AI that's been developed at lightning speed that seems to be even smarter than ChatGPT, and it's less restricted when it comes to image generation, and it's easy for anyone to access. That's a lot to unpack.
It really is, and that's just scratching the surface.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. I mean, we're really stepping into uncharted territory with this kind of power, accessible to pretty much anyone.
It's exciting and kind of scary at the same time, right?
Definitely. There's so much potential for good.
Yeah. I mean, imagine what we could do with this. Advancements in medicine.
Scientific discoveries.
Art and design could be completely transformed.
Yeah, but that's exactly why we need to be so careful. We have to weigh the benefits against the risks. Like, what happens when anyone can create a realistic image of, well, anyone doing anything? Where's the line? How do we even prevent misuse?
That's the big question, isn't it? And this whole deepfake thing, that's terrifying.
Can you imagine someone creates a fake video of a politician saying something inflammatory
Oh, it could completely destroy trust.
and wreak havoc on our political systems? And how do you even begin to regulate something this powerful?
That's the challenge for lawmakers, isn't it? Technology always seems to be a step ahead.
So what do we do? Where do we even start?
Well, I think education is key. The more people understand about AI, the better equipped they'll be to spot problems, advocate for responsible use.
Yeah, like knowledge is power and all that.
Exactly. We need people to think critically about AI, not just take everything at face value.
And we need transparency from the companies developing this technology.
Absolutely. We have a right to know how these systems work, what data they're trained on, what's being done to prevent misuse.
That actually reminds me of something the YouTuber said about Elon Musk himself.
Oh, yeah.
They were talking about how Musk has always been this disruptor.
Right. Someone who challenges the status quo.
Yeah, pushes the boundaries, doesn't really care about the rules.
That's Musk in a nutshell. So maybe this Grok 3 thing is just another example of that.
Maybe he sees this as some necessary step.
Pushing AI development as far as it can go.
He does kind of force us to face these uncomfortable questions.
Makes us reevaluate our assumptions.
He's like that friend who brings up controversial topics at a dinner party.
And I know exactly what you mean.
You might not always agree with him, but he gets the conversation going.
And sometimes that's what it takes, right? That kind of thinking can lead to progress.
As long as we don't throw ethics out the window.
That's the key. Progress without responsibility is dangerous.
So where does that leave us with Grok 3? It feels like we're at this crossroads.
We have this amazing opportunity
But it's also a huge risk.
to shape AI's future.
But it's going to take a collective effort. Policymakers, researchers, developers, the public.
It's almost like we're writing the rule book as we go.
And the stakes are incredibly high.
It's a lot to process, all this talk about AI and what it could mean for the world.
It is, but we can't just give in to fear.
Right. We have a voice in this.
We need to use it. Advocate for the future we want.
Be informed, engage in the conversation, don't be afraid to speak up. That's why these deep dives are so important, exploring these issues,
Yeah, having these discussions.
trying to make sense of it all. So if we kind of step back and think about the bigger picture, what are the key takeaways here? What does Grok 3 tell us about the future of AI?
I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Well, first of all, it shows us how fast things are moving. What used to take years is now happening in months.
It's mind-blowing. We really are living in the future.
And then there's the issue of power. A handful of tech giants control these incredible technologies.
It's like social media all over again.
Yeah, and that raises some serious concerns. Bias, transparency, accountability. Who's making the decisions? Who benefits?
Big questions. Honestly, I don't know what the answers are.
But we need to start asking them, demanding more accountability.
We can't just blindly trust that everything will be okay.
We need to be active participants in shaping AI's future, making sure it reflects our values, our ethical principles.
Yeah, it's a turning point for sure.
Yeah.
We can't put the AI genie back in the bottle, so we better figure out how to handle it.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
But I think we can do it, right? I mean, look, we freaked out about the internet at first.
Yeah, totally.
All that fear about what it would do to society.
But we adapted, figured out some rules,
Found ways to use it responsibly, for the most part at least.
and we can do the same with AI. It won't be easy, there will be hiccups along the way, but I think we can harness it for good, minimize the risks.
So what can our listeners do? How can they be part of this? Make sure AI's future is a positive one.
I mean, first of all, just stay informed, right? Learn about different types of AI, how they work, what impact they could have on our lives.
There are tons of resources out there.
Articles, videos, even podcasts like this one.
Right, but don't just passively absorb information.
Yeah, be critical, ask questions, challenge assumptions.
Don't be afraid to speak up. Get involved in those discussions about AI ethics.
The more people who are engaged in these conversations, the better.
We can also support organizations working on responsible AI development, those focused on AI ethics, bias, data privacy.
So many people are already working on this, trying to make sure AI is used ethically. Supporting those efforts is huge.
It's interesting to think about how AI like Grok 3 might change how we learn, how we create things.
Yeah.
If it can be trained on so much information so quickly, what happens to education? What happens to art?
Who knows? Maybe AI will revolutionize education. Imagine personalized learning tailored to each student, an AI tutor that adapts to your learning style.
Wow.
And for artists, musicians, writers, it could be incredible. AI helping them explore new ideas.
Breaking down those creative barriers.
Exactly. The possibilities are endless.
But we have to remember that